Good evening. Welcome back to BoomerRexTonight, your nearly daily source for news and politics. Let me introduce our boomer, Mr. Rex.
Good evening.
Asshole, our millennial.
Fuck you, David.
And I'm RisenLadyHeathen, female millennial. They both eat, sleep, and breathe politics, and I'm still learning. We give you the facts and each of our three unique perspectives from our literal round table. Later, Asshole has broken down the 2000s tax laws, Barney style, and they should be better than the dry style we were doing previously.
Yeah, it'll be shorter.
So let's dig right into
I'm
our
not saying that's better.
headlines. Floridians find their party affiliations magically changed to Republican.
Poof, you're a wreath bug. The signatures on voters living in high-rise towers and apartment buildings in South Florida, whose registration was changed to Republican, those signatures are noticeably different than on paperwork those same voters signed earlier. Signature comparisons performed this week in Miami as journalists from the University of Florida College of Journalism and Communications investigated possible voter registration fraud. So it turns out, apparently, there are at least a couple of people who have been sending in change of registration forms for voters who did not sign them.
Entered.
And that's been taking place in an area where anyway, these findings extended to at least 20 more high-density residential buildings over a 5-mile area.
So these are all high density, buildings,
Right.
where you got a lot of people, so easy to get names and such.
Yeah, voters in nearly 24 buildings in a 6-mile radius had their party registration changed to Republican at rates that were more than 10 times the statewide average.
So that's what triggered people being like, what's going on?
That's right.
Cool.
And now we know what was going on. We have a couple of people forging people's signatures, which incidentally is felony.
Yeah, especially for voting stuff, right? Yeah. Is there any way to track down who these people are?
I don't know. Let's write them down and fuck them up.
They had a contract. Yeah, supposedly, no, this is all going to be 1099s, but you're required to keep some information on even 1099 employees. Yep. So, yeah, we could find this if we wanted to. We'll see if Florida wants to.
Yep.
All right, time to send the kiddies out of the room. We got some real fucked up info for you. Are you kidding me?
So this one is just...
That's what happens when I take a nap.
And you go, what the fuck? 5 officials at a Christian school in Texas have been arrested and charged with failing to report the alleged sexual assault of a 9th grader that unfolded in the locker room during baseball practice. Faculty members, 2 coaches, and 3 administrators at Midland Christian School were arrested Wednesday and charged with failure to report with intent to conceal neglect or abuse.
This is why I would attack them with the 3rd charge as co-conspirators.
The 5 were Jared Lee, school superintendent, Dana Ellis, secondary school principal, Matthew Counts, secondary assistant principal, Gregory McClendon, athletic director and head football coach, and Barry Russell, baseball coach, according to an arrest affidavit obtained by NBC News.
Good.
Yeah, no, I love this.
So
they grabbed him. Under other circumstances, you would say it started like a hazing incident for a new member of the team, right?
Man, hazing is a fucking rough one.
Well,
I know.
You said that he was in the locker room.
Yeah.
The lights go out.
Freshman initiation day. They began to hit him, and he could hear people screaming as he was hit. He then allegedly was sexually assaulted with a baseball bat.
Always someone in the room like that.
By another student.
Yeah, no, that's cool. We're getting the kids. Everyone's going to wear the bracelets for a while.
Yeah, certainly should.
Yeah, no, we're not. It's Texas. They're going to paper over this.
This is disgusting and despicable and...
Why you should let your kids play sports, guys.
If I ever thought for a second that my child was involved in something like this, he would not just be going to therapy. I would take him to the police myself and be like, I think he was involved in a thing. You need to talk to this motherfucker. and
Yep.
he would not be allowed
That's
to
your
go
right.
to school anymore. Now you're at home, buddy. We're doing homeschooling. Sucks to be
Yeah, remember when you were
Right,
in
and if I
kindergarten and I
let you
said
out of
don't
the
bite
cage,
people?
you can go
Yeah.
to the bathroom.
I didn't think I had to tell you not to fuck them with a bat.
I
I don't think you should.
Or
I'd be
if
hesitant
you
to fuck a
realized
human
that
with a
was-
bat who wanted that.
Even if you were just in the room and realized that was happening and did nothing to stop it, as far as I'm concerned, you are guilty by fucking association. That is
you are, as
fucked
a
up.
minimum, guilty of being an accessory after
This is
the
what I
fact.
was saying, and I thought we were just. I thought this was gonna be much simpler. Like,
Yeah.
I thought this was just like a teacher grabbed up a kid and
Yeah.
went to feeling on him.
Not so much.
Yeah. And I hadn't figured out what else, and then I did not expect a bat or let alone group things. But wow, since we've sent black kids to jail for life for
Lots
giving a
less.
ride to or getting a ride from someone who stopped on the way home and robbed a clerk,
Yep.
I say get them all. I think they all did this.
Yeah.
I think this was the.
Roll it
Or
up.
show me the proof that you did. You weren't part of the bat fucker conspiracy.
Yep.
And look at what we did when we thought they were Satanist. I think one of these kids likes the devil. Go get him, Texas.
Yeah.
Oh, they do,
It's probably
because
the
they're
whole
into
sport.
Sodom,
Maybe
and that
they're
is
warlocks.
There
aggressively
you go. I don't know. Whatever
against
you're
the-
afraid of.
You've
We
already
probably
got
letters to
don't you already
Hogwarts,
have a
man.
guy
Just
in Texas who
somebody get
does
that-
witches.
get
And,
that fucking book burner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell him, like, get these kids. I don't know.
Yeah.
I doubt he'd have much of a problem with this, but
No, there's very few times in my life where I will say, you need Jesus aggressively.
No, you
this
don't.
is not okay.
No, what you need is to be a decent.
No, I
human
know,
being.
but that's what that phrase means to me, right? It's not like you need to go become Christian or whatever, but that you need to be a better human fucking being, or be a human being. Right now, I'm not sure you're really a
Well,
human being, right?
Which,
now.
in my experience, has nothing to do with religion.
No, not at all.
Right?
Not at all.
In fact, I have known a number of religious people that I, honest to God, think were terrified of what they would do if they didn't think God would punish them.
oh
And
yeah,
I-
no,
I
that's
can't
the,
imagine
That's the ones that
being like
concern
that.
me when you see it moving around
I
inside
can't
them.
imagine. Yeah.
That fear in the back of their eyes at what they would do if unrestrained by the fear
Yeah.
of eternal damnation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't bring my family dressed up to hang out with these people. I don't know what the fuck you all are
No.
about.
Yeah.
I want them to take a page.
Because someday you're going to get drunk and not feel restrained.
Uh huh.
Yeah.
Someday. No, I want these assholes to take a page out of Thick Duck's book and end up like that.
Hmm.
This would be Thick Quang Duc, the Vietnamese monk who burned himself to death, which none of these kids could ever, right, reach the same, like,
Enlightenment.
enlightenment or purpose with their lives. Look, motherfuckers, you did a weird thing one day, and you're going to spend the rest of your lives trying to make that right. Good luck. Because the system's not going to do shit to you. You're sports kids. This is training for the 54% of college sexual assaults you're about to go on to commit.
Yeah.
Fuck you. I hope there's a school shooting.
Yeah. I mean, God.
I hope there's a locker room shooting.
There you go.
No, I'm sorry. Their crime has put them in the realm of adults.
No, this
and
is
my
disgusting.
entire answer
Yeah.
box is just, God, you're lucky that wasn't one of my people. I don't know what my response would be.
Biblical.
I mean, I'm probably quote the
There'd be
Bible
some
while I'm doing it.
hangings going on.
I-
randomly
Fuck,
find
man, you
kids
wish it's
hung up in
hangings.
trees.
You wish it's hangings.
No, not the nice kind of hangings, the bad
I-
kind of hangings where they struggle.
No, I'm thinking more the belt sander. Yeah, no.
You can do that while they're struggling.
All right, we got to
Yeah.
move on.
We really do.
Yeah.
Because no, I'm so angry at the adults that I would charge all of them for sure. They get the full ride of no shithead. You're not a failure to report, motherfucker.
You're an
You're a
accessory
co-conspirator.
after the after
Yeah,
the fact.
I don't know who actually held the bat, but I know that you didn't tell anyone when you found out there was a bat.
Yeah.
So you did this.
Jewish Alabama student reprimanded by school for complaining about students doing Nazi salute in class.
So anyway, Jewish student in a school in Mountain Brook, Alabama, was rebuked and threatened by the
Nope,
school
we're golden.
after he spoke out about a lesson in which he said the teacher and the students were giving Nazi salutes.
I mean, yeah, that part's gonna get messy.
It is a little bit, and we
I-
need to talk about that.
No, I agree.
Um,
Because I originally heard it the way the headline reads, and I'm like, oh, fuck this class. What is this teacher on about? Is this
Yeah.
some third wave shit?
Yeah.
And it's not.
Apparently, the lesson involved students learning that what had become the Nazi salute was at one point used in the United States. and at that time was not a symbol of white supremacy.
In the 20s.
What it was called was the Bellamy Salute. It was developed in the 1880s along with the pledge. Right. And yes, it looked very much like the Nazi salute. It fell out of popularity because the Nazis used it. Right. And in 1942, it was ended by the Flag Act, which said the correct salute was the handle with a heart. Okay, all of that's fine, and that lesson would have been fine,
Yeah, no,
except he
I'm
had
fine
him
with that.
doing the salute.
Yeah, having him teaching them how to salute
Yeah,
towards the
that's
flag
what
and
that
having
guy-
them all stand up and do the salute to the flag. That was not okay.
Nope, I would have demonstrated it. This is not audience participation period of the lecture.
No.
Yeah,
And
Anyway.
then,
No, it gets
they
worse.
told him he was making Mountain Brook look bad for uploading the video and sharing
Mountain
it,
Brook, you
and
did
asked him to apologize to his teacher, which he refused to do.
Absolutely.
He said the day after he made our class only put up our phones, he moved me to sitting from the back of the class to right next to him. The school tried to downplay their actions. Of course they did.
They know they're screwed up. One of their lunatic Nazi teachers, or excuse me, Bellamist, I guess. Whatever that guy's got wrong in his head
No,
has
the problem
exposed
is-
them to some
is
serious
that-
liability.
Well, and he just normalized the Nazi salute to these children because they're going to run around like my son would do if he was taught that in a
And
class.
told them, well, it's okay. No, it's not okay. It's
No,
the
exactly.
Nazi salute.
But I can tell you that my son at an age would have come home and been like,
Look
and
what
I would have
I
been like,
learned.
you just did what? And he would have been like, no, I learned it's the Bellamy salute and it's fine. And I'm like, you don't
It's
understand,
going to be
honey.
hard to say
It's
that when I
not
choke
fine.
No.
But my point is that that's what this is not okay. Not okay.
Not okay in any way.
Oh my god.
Again, the
Disgusting.
class of showing photographs and saying this was a salute used in the
Absolutely,
unit,
right? Who-
that would have been perfectly fine.
Anyone with
But
a
that's
room
not
temperature
what he did.
IQ could have taught that class without this outcome.
Yep.
Right.
And then to follow it up, I don't know how you don't, right?
Could you imagine being a Jewish child sitting in this class
Yeah,
where you're
he can.
all of your students
Oh, yeah.
or all of your fellow, students
Well,
are doing the Heil
Yeah.
Hitler.
Yeah.
He's a Jewish student sitting in this class.
I understand he is. I'm
Okay.
saying could you or I even
I've seen similar horrific
for a
things, so
second-
I'm not.
Well, I'd have walked out.
Yeah. So no, and then to have it continue on, what the fuck, man? Because like you're an adult, this thing happened. You're obviously in that video fucking this all up. Oh no, I'm gonna get me a video tomorrow in class, and I'm gonna be the teacher of the year next year. You fucking stupid! This is a child. I'm gonna set my phone up to record it. I'm gonna make an apology like no one's ever heard. And like a real one, not like some Mark Antony shit where I'm stirring the crowd. But
Assuming that this wasn't his intent all along.
oh, exactly. No,
Right.
I assume this
Which I
nitwit
would
has
not
an
be
unpublished
surprised to find
manifesto and is
out.
hoping to
Right.
become a darling of the nonsense brigade.
Yeah.
Right. This is the same as this is similarly fuck off stupid to that college professor that was babbling about 9/11 and how we deserved it. And like, yeah, I can make that argument. I wouldn't. That's the dumbest way to start. Even if that's the points you want to convey, that's not where I'm starting.
Yeah.
And probably not going to show up anywhere in the body of my statement.
All right, let's move on to Boomer Rex's About Damn Time.
So
Really
anyway,
good news.
God, it's been a wonderful week for Trump and the courts. And I think what we're seeing is the courts are sick and tired of the Trump gang.
Right.
And they are starting to rule. And in two of the cases, part of what they said when they made their ruling, I mean, you have one who says, and that's her job, to go after bad people,
Right.
with the clear implication that Trump's a bad people.
Oh yeah, he's a bad people.
Right.
No one's questioning this.
So anyway,
And if Trump had a competent legal team, that would have come up already.
So anyway, judge refused to dismiss the Capitol riot related lawsuits. So that's what, his fourth or fifth loss of this week in court. And again, at least two of the judges were quite clearly critical of him. In fact, the one in New York said that the prosecutor didn't simply have the authority to subpoena them, she had the responsibility to subpoena them based on the gross evidence of, right.
No, if I was Trump's lawyer, I wouldn't have quoted from that part.
Yeah.
No, but I'd have raised hell about the commenting on the facts of the case. And like, there's nothing you can do about it. Judge are given wide latitude in their right, what they're allowed to say. That's cool. But I'd have made that the noise, right? That's a new lawsuit that hasn't yet been shut down. I'd have filed it in the wrong court, so I didn't have standing, so we could have a whole other round where now it's in federal court, baby. But no competent lawyer will answer his phone calls.
So anyway, Trump's attempt to dismiss the civil lawsuits filed by multiple members of Congress that hold him personally responsible for inciting the riots. He granted Trump's attempt to dismiss certain aspects of the lawsuit, including accusations of intentional infliction of yada yada. But he also refused to dismiss claims in the lawsuit that Trump aided or abetted the assault on the Capitol.
Good. Because he did.
Yeah.
So, which was the big charge.
Yes. No, that's fabulous.
Awesome.
Yeah. Well, it finishes up his epically bad week in court.
Oh, yeah.
And again, it appears to me that the courts have had it with the Trump gang. So
They have to know that if you go down this road, right, that's so many of the times I don't understand why people don't do what's in their actual interest. That's cool. What concerns me more is when you see them doing things, right, actively counter to their interest.
Right.
And that's what supporting this would be for courts.
yeah.
Right? They know that's the end of their jurisdiction and their discretion. And
No, if we really decide the law doesn't apply to orange assholes from Florida,
yeah. Then I can think of no reason why anyone should feel that it applies anywhere.
or why would they bother going to court when the streets are closer?
I recommend against the streets, but yeah, no, exactly. This is the threat to the system we are talking about.
Yeah. Again, at some point, folks have to realize that a lawsuit is not the worst thing that can happen to you. So,
And if you understand what that sentence means, don't vote for the people who are trying to get, right, protections for rich people. I mean, hell, they tried to pass a rule that said not understanding stock rules could be used as an affirmative defense,
that's just ridiculous.
which would just make all of the front people you meet from stock companies dumb as shit. Which, I mean, cool,
Which
great.
might open some job
I'm glad the modern
opportunities,
Cato
but-
Kalin will find a 7-figure job.
Yeah.
But,
And while we're talking about the ultra rich,
because I got a hard enough time thinking there's anyone who needs a 7-figure job.
I think we said last night that Elon Musk had contributed to the Canadian.
What he had done was tweet in defense of them.
Yeah.
Because that's the kind of scumbag he is and the kind of scumbag country he comes from.
Yeah, he supports them.
Yeah.
So I would
So,
just
but
like
there's no evidence that he contributed that we know of.
That
he
contributed
supported him.
money.
He banged on GoFundMe when they took the money back.
Yeah.
And again, because he's talking about how they're thieves. And yeah, so are you and your dad. Shut up. By your definition, you're using there. Only wildly more so. Because again, they were refunding it. They weren't keeping it. If you didn't get your money back, then it got donated to charities.
Yeah. So I apologize, Mr. Musk.
Not really.
I would just like to say a heartfelt fuck you, though, and I hope some of your ships are burning on that thing, and
Oh my God, yes.
I hope you stub your toe.
Oh, you people are so wonderful.
Ah, well, you
Yeah.
fucking jaded as shit. Tell me about the dumbass of the day.
Oh my God. So here is, after Mike Lindell storms Canada with pillows and can't get in. So now he's back to the Georgia Capitol.
This
And
is
he's calling for the arrest of various GOP officials. And he called for the Secretary of State, Brad Raffensperger, to be arrested. He's probably on the phone with China right now, Lindell said.
oh yeah, I don't know, it's fucking.
You know, in Georgia here, Brad Raffensperger is probably, you know me, I mean, melt down the machines and put him behind bars. He needs to be put in prison.
You dumb
It
motherfucker! You
needs
can't
to
even
be
make that
ended.
work.
Put in prison.
What you should have said, you ignorant fucking junkie, was we should melt the machines down and make the cage out of the metal, or something. Connect one thought to another. You fucking huckster.
Yep.
So anyway, the response from Raffensperger's spokesman was, Mike Lindell's nonsensical parade only harms public confidence in elections.
Yep.
This isn't
Yeah.
just a problem in Georgia, it's nationwide.
Nope, keep going.
He knows he's lying, but he's fallen so deep into the grift that he may actually believe his own lies.
No, I think he
I know.
does.
Wait, there's more.
Flooding our offices with bizarre chain letters will not change the outcome of 2020, but it will change the outcome for Republicans by staying home in 2022 due to these off-base antics.
That's the part I like.
Yep.
God willing, from their lips to fucking the great spaghetti monster's ears or noodles.
Yeah, you gotta love it.
No, God damn it, fuck it,
Please, let's keep them talking.
I have a
about this
personal
shit.
hate on for him because I listened to that 72-hour garbage fest.
Did you? Oh
Yeah.
my God.
So
I listened to about 30 minutes of it
Yeah,
twice.
and just
What, guys, I'm sorry. I know all the words in that 30-word
I know,
sentence. And when you string them together like that, it's not a sentence.
I know I've made this example before, but I love it because it fits so perfectly. You know, in the 40K books, when they're talking about the bad guy engineers and they're blasting scrap code at the networks and
that's
stuff.
what they're talking,
yeah.
the scrap
No,
code.
exactly.
Yeah.
Where you can just pick the words you want and make up That's what
Yeah.
dreaming is. You can't dream while you're walking around. That's unsafe for everyone.
Apparently you can.
Well, okay, you can, but you better be on some drugs, man. Like, drugs are the only, like, safety fallback. I wish they were. I think, no, these are the straight edge kids. That's what scares me.
Okay, and so here's our think piece.
Uh-oh.
Kim Potter was sentenced to 2 years, minus time served, right, for fatally shooting Duante Wright.
Yep.
Okay. I have two responses to that.
Yep.
One is the sentence seems a little short.
Absolutely.
On the other hand, I think she was over-convicted,
Uh-huh.
right? I think there's no evidence of malice or intent,
Yep.
right?
Watch
This
this.
was a
Yeah.
horrible mistake,
Mhm.
right?
Watch this, though. Beware rakes ahead.
Okay.
It's not, actually, your thing's perfectly fine. I do have one odd question that's going to make all of this skew slightly. Why on earth are tasers shaped like pistols and not a flashlight?
Oh, good question.
Right? Where
Yeah,
worst
it would
case
be
you
so
meant a
simple.
taser, right? Because again, the pointing mechanism is all the same. It's all the rest. There's
No,
no.
if you did it right, there wouldn't be a trigger where it's supposed to be.
Uh-huh.
And
Exactly.
that would wake you the fuck up.
Yeah, but
Right.
no, I wouldn't even have it with a pistol grip, right?
Yeah, no,
Because
I-
the short rangeness of a taser, it should be in a flashlight body.
Yeah. With 2 buttons on it.
Uh huh.
Um,
I don't even care if it's another flashlight. I'm saying hang a cylindrical piece of equipment as opposed to something that feels like the gun.
right.
I want the gun, right? The gun should always feel different. I wouldn't want a map holder with a
thinking
pistol
of that,
grip.
I wonder if Duante's mother shouldn't be talking
The
to
taser?
to some lawyers about the taser company.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
no,
yeah.
they are not. I'm sure they have an incredible litigation shield. They're not very smart as a company. You can look at some of the other decisions they make, and
Yeah.
so they've got holes.
Anyway, so is it a fully satisfying verdict? No.
No.
But was there malice? And I have seen absolutely no
No,
evidence
she
of malice.
was shocked.
Yep.
I know.
The look on her face and the way she just collapsed, like,
Yeah.
I shot him.
Yeah.
I can't believe I fucking shot him.
Yeah, she
Like-
wasn't high-fiving like the Avery shooters. She
Right.
wasn't doing any of the scumbag things we're used to. So either she is a level of scumbag that we will never get. Like, if the Clintons
Yeah.
really were the people the conspiracy theorists think they are, don't fuck with them. They get to murder whoever they want, and they pulled off 9/11.
Yeah, shut up about it. But
They're obviously a classic criminal you can't deal with, and that's what she would have to be to do this, and she's not.
She's not.
On the other hand,
I understand the family's
I'd have to-
frustration.
no, I get that. Like she definitely like accidentally killed this kid, and she should go to jail for that. But I don't know.
I'm worried about it simply because we are at a place where
No,
I'm not sure this lady isn't in danger of catching more punishment 18 months from now than she deserves.
I
Right.
I feel
She'll be out of jail at some
Oh,
point.
peace. Got it.
You can, if you don't like how a
know.
court thing went, you can always re-roll.
I don't
Don't
feel
do
I
it.
what I feel like is that they're using her to say, see, we
Yeah.
punish bad cops who do bad things,
Uh-huh.
but she's not a bad
It's
cop.
like the Asian
She-
cop they threw
she-
away when they needed to be in trouble.
She
'cause of
made a
white
mistake, and that mistake should be on the
Yeah,
heads
but
of
she's
the
not-
people who trained her, and her, of course.
Yes.
But I feel like it should also weigh heavily on the people who trained her, and I don't see them getting
And
charges
I have
for
no
nothing.
trouble believing that the Fraternal Order of Police is high-fiving, going, well, she wasn't a real cop anyway.
Yeah. Oh God, I'm
absolutely.
sure. I am sure.
Or at least some scumbags. I don't know if you're all scumbags or not. I don't fucking care anymore. That's the thing you need to worry about. It's not the day there's a war on cops, because that'll last until brunch and you guys will have burned your uniforms. What you need to be worried about is motherfucking indifference.
Oh yeah.
Because the amount of guns and weapons in this country that criminals have to use against you,
Yeah.
they could do QRFs, right? They could make it a war zone, and if no one cares, who fucking knows, right? If a cop falls in the street and no one cares,
Does he make
even
a sound?
Yeah, no, exactly.
But I have some fun news.
Oh, thank God.
Over 100 people were arrested in Ottawa, Ontario, for the Freedom Convoy up in Canada. And it included 4 leaders. And only one of those 4 leaders was released on bail. The rest are being held.
Okay,
So, yay.
cool.
Good.
And they appear to have done it reasonably quietly and gently.
And that's the way to have done it. I know.
Yeah.
Like, part of me would just fucking bust their heads like they're hippies. I mean, you're Canada, so I don't know what the hell Canada does with their hippies. But
Well, I was visualizing for the long haul trucks.
Yeah.
You just drive in with a tank and you throw something that looks suspiciously like a grappling hook through his windshield and then drive away with him behind the tank.
for America, I'd use that hydraulic ram that goes through doors and just yanks the wall off your house.
Yeah, okay.
And I'd put it through their engine block.
Ha! Nice.
No, I want to damage the tools of their craft. I want to make it right. Oh,
Yeah.
part of that it's not the truckers anymore. I'm just fucking done.
Nope, they were
Do
nice.
the noisy wheel. That sometimes the noisy wheel gets shot in the
Nope,
mouth.
they sent people in, but they had cops. Some of them were in riot gear. Some of them had AKs.
Some of them had horses.
Yeah, and they sent them in, and they did their thing, and they towed the trucks away. So I'm sure they're gonna have to pay steep fines to get those back. Bunch of stuff, but this is being treated as mischief, so they're not really. Nothing terrible is gonna happen to these people, but they're just clearing them out of the way. Fine, good job, Canada. Well played.
All right.
But California is stealing a page from Texas on how to make laws.
All right.
So, you know how Texas has their, abortion ban, but not really, because they're just allowing you to sue people.
Uh-huh.
So California said, fine, what's good for the goose is good for the gander, and we're going to allow our people to sue gun companies because they have a ban on guns, and so now you can
A ban on
sue,
specific types.
yeah, I think it's assault weapons.
And magazine capacity, I think. That's... But good. Way to go.
Wait.
No, because
how that works out?
what I'm hoping,
Now I was doing something else completely.
what I'm
Do it all over again.
what I'm hoping to see here is that with California doing this, that the Supreme Court is going to be like, oh fuck, they're fucking with our
That may
shit
be
now.
against the owners, so that violate, so you've got a high capacity magazine, your neighbor sues you.
Yeah. No, I'm all about. First off, God damn it! Why are you showing people your guns? Never understood
because
that.
they do.
I know.
That's
no,
what you do. If you have a gun, you
I
tell
like-
everybody
I
about
know.
it. You post pictures on
I like
Facebook
no. What the fuck? No.
with your baby holding it and stuff. That's what you do.
Nope.
That's
These
what
are the kinds
And
of gun owners that
somebody
make
on
me
your
hate being a
friends
gun owner.
list?
Yep.
Is sitting there writing down a
Don't,
name and
don't,
going,
no,
this is
we
a
don't,
USDA
don't.
good source when the day comes.
You do not want to turn the American people into their own secret police. You do not want to make us informers, because we'll do it. We have a higher authoritarianism score than any other country by fucking far. No,
All right.
and it's a gun thing, which is already fucking dumb for us to talk about as the left, because it's like abortion, only less fun. Because at least in the abortion stories, somebody got fucked at some point.
Yeah.
So, Boomer, you have
Updates.
some updates for us. Tell me about Omicron.
All right. So stealth Omicron, which is a highly variant version of Omicron,
Aren't they all
which is,
stealth
first
variants
of
'cause we
all,
can't see
harder
'em?
to detect, right? Some of the old tests don't detect it. It may be more deadly than Omicron. The initial data says
Inish Barnaby.
that it might be. The only good news is that because we handled Omicron so incredibly badly and didn't wear our masks, right, that a larger fraction of the U.S. now has some temporary immunity,
Yeah.
right, to Omicron-ish variants. right?
Yeah.
And those of us who are fully vaccinated and may also have gotten Omicron.
Extra double bonus.
That's right. So anyway, excellent. Love it.
Good.
Shall we
All right,
move on
you
to
got a climate weirding
climate
update?
weirding? Yeah. So Storm Eunice moved into the UK. And the UK recorded the highest wind speed it had ever recorded anywhere ever in the UK.
What was that?
122 miles an hour.
Oh,
So this is ripping roofs off and toppling trees and so forth.
and this was just a storm that had a tornado, or was it
Oh,
like
this is the second one in a
like
couple
a
of months.
hurricane or something?
No, it's just a big North Atlantic storm that came ashore.
Huh.
Again, these North Atlantic storms are not unusual. The intensity of the last couple has been unusual.
Right.
Right?
Sounds like.
And the other thing is that the UK saw the wettest day on record in 2020. So again, what's happening is that your climate is changing,
Oh yeah,
right?
aggressively.
And so when you look at climatology and say, what is the highest wind I'm going to get? Your answer's wrong, right? And it's all about the same stuff. In this case, what's driving the storms in, right, is the Arctic vortex, right? But those happen all the time.
Right.
And what it's driving in is water that's wetter than usual. And again, when that water condenses, you have even more heat pumped into the atmosphere by the condensation, right? So you get more water out the bottom, more heat in the atmosphere, and more activity in the
Storms.
atmosphere.
Yeah.
So anyway, climate weirding's working right the hell out.
Yeah.
What can I tell you?
Jeez.
Sounds it.
So
All right, time for asshole to tell us about the tax laws of the 2000. So he's gonna do tax laws 2000 to 2009, and then him and I will collaborate tomorrow.
Very much more likely, I'll just be told I'm not allowed to help.
No, you're allowed to help. I need you to help, but
Yeah.
I need you to help, not just do it.
Yeah.
Today he just did it, and I wasn't gonna argue.
I thought we were doing
We were both really tired.
2020.
Wade, our dog Wade, we've been talking about him. He decided to get in a fight with a skunk last night. So that was our night. It was bad. It was bad. So
and
we
then
were
you texted
very
me at
tired.
midnight.
Yeah. It sucked all around.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Well, we wanted you to know we put him in the fence so that
Okay.
you didn't let Semperfi out to then also get skunk
Okay.
on her because she rubbed up against him or whatever.
That's not what I read at midnight.
Oh, that's what it said. So you
Okay.
should read better. But anyway.
I'll give you fair play. If it's midnight, you're on your own. You get whatever words I pick out. I'm going to make this more interesting.
All right. So tell us, asshole, what's going on with the laws?
So, this is where all the guardrails are gone, right? That was the 60s, 70s, and 80s, where, right, we were making it better for the rich, but now we've made it so bad that we have to actually start correcting some shit.
Yep.
First, we do the tax cuts.
Yeah.
Right. That's the big Bush tax cuts. That's the.
Right. Well, then we start talking about how expensive
Well,
entitlements
why don't
are.
you read the name of the law and then explain? Oh, sorry.
Shut
I'm
your
ahead
ass
of you.
down if I'm doing this on my own.
Okay. Fuck you.
So,
You want to send her away?
no.
Okay.
All of the Bush tax cuts, or not all of them, but the big ones, are
Yeah.
covered under the Economic Growth and Tax Relief Reconciliation Act of 2001, which is we're
Right.
not at yet. First, we're at some other scumbaggy for the bosses shit. So, one of the things you can always tell when scumbags and bosses are getting together with your congressman is when they start talking about empowerment zones.
Oh, yeah.
Now, this is basically the industrial, like Sam's Club variant of the scam we pulled in the 70s with the hard push to do franchises for poor people. And so we gave a lot of fast. It's why the poor communities and communities of color have some of the worst food deserts, because we pushed a lot of fast food into it where all of the liability is on one end and all of the upside is on the corporate chain you're buying
Yep,
the name
absolutely.
from. Plus, they're going to want to do some stuff because, like, Pizza Hut is big into your disciplinary thing and doing your hours, which makes them not a franchise. So, because really the whole franchising thing is just about a liability shield. So, we've got 9 new empowerment zones, extended the present law on empowerment zones through 2009. New tax credit, that's not the one I wanted. We're letting them write off more for the cost of environmental remediation, which actually isn't a bad thing, because there are some like not shithouse dumb things we did in this. Because the shithouse
Assuming
stuff's
we
coming
did the
next.
remediation.
Yeah, exactly. No, we got into a lot of the extending the things. Yeah, District of Columbia has a useless tax credit of $5,000 for first-time home buyers. Cool. So, a tenth. That's real useful. No, wait, Brain, you're bad at math. It's even less than that.
I know.
Because I'm sure median house costs in DC, that 5,000 was helping a lot.
Right.
Extends the medical savings accounts through 2000. There was no other else good here. Yeah, hold on. I actually want to ask you about this one. Low-income housing tax credit. Increase the per capita low-income tax credit cap from $1.25 per capita to $1.50 per capita in 2001 and $1.75 in 2002, and adjust due to inflation beginning in 2003. Yeah, what the fuck that is?
No.
Okay, I couldn't find any good answers when I was looking through. Yeah, provide new markets tax credit for minimum qualifying equity investments of $1 billion in the U.S. and 1.5 up to 3.5 in 2007. Because they're writing a lot of these sort of worms included. Because already they're talking, they know they can't get the tax cut, right? It actually has a name, Brain. Economic Growth and Tax Relief Reconciliation Act of 2001. That's the big Bush tax cuts.
Right.
That Obama then made permanent or continued. So loads of my Republican friends want me to call them the Obama tax cuts. And like, or we could just keep them under who started them. Like, we should punish Obama for making them permanent. We did. We stayed home in 2010.
Yeah.
But that's another day. This is the big one where individual tax rate reductions, when fully phased in 2006, it levied a new 10% rate on the first 12,000 of income.
Okay.
This is where we knew we weren't making enough off the bosses, and the bosses had now had long enough that they had created whole strands of accountant that we weren't going to be able to touch.
Right.
Right, that our forensic experts are used to dealing with criminals who are organizing, not, right, born and raised. So, single head household, 50% raise begins thereafter. Reduce the 28% to 25, the 31% to 28, the 36% rate to 33, and the 39.6 to 35. Notice as we go up, those shifts are getting bigger.
Yeah.
Because we were somehow constraining the bosses.
Trickle down. It was
Yeah,
okay.
that's right. Because they would take their new money and start new businesses to employ your children.
Right. No, what they do is they put them in a CD, basically.
Yeah. Well, one of those credit default swaps.
Yeah.
That'd be really good. Because if you get out early, or if you own all of them,
Yeah.
then anyway, we haven't gotten there yet. We doubled the child tax credit, which, okay, I'm down with that. Marriage penalty.
Again, that was the sop to the Democrats, was to help those at the very bottom.
Oh, and remember, Democrats are still high on that triangulation, neoliberal bullshit that the Clintons had, which is why no Clinton is ever getting elected again.
Well, and they were being invited to the Wall Street parties and so forth, which, they really enjoy.
That's all
and
that
so
mattered.
they're not going to hurt their friends.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and then if we were
Rich
nice
friends.
enough to the donors, eventually the donors would get tired of this culture war stuff.
right.
Because we
Right.
saw under Clinton that when you create 20 million jobs, no one really cares about the culture war
But
shit.
this is when the drumbeat really gets started on the entitlements.
Estate and gift tax reduction and elimination gradually reduced the estate and gift tax rate from 55% to 45% by 2007, raises the effective exemption from 1 million in 2002 to 3.5 million in 2009, and it's only gone up from there.
Yeah.
But that's why we also, and this is also when the drum beat on the estate tax, because you worked hard for all that, and all of us
you
are
should
thinking
be
about,
able to pass it on.
yeah, the none of us that have $1 million worth of holdings, but it's less than 3%. It's about the number that goes up against the wall when the revolution comes.
Wait a minute. Go
Go
ahead.
Yeah, no, that's the problem. Yes, retirement savings contribution ceiling increased. Increased IRA annual contribution limits from 2,000 to 5,000. Of all that extra money you have.
Yeah. Well, again, this is great for middle management. You
Uh-huh.
got to take care of some folks.
Oh, yeah. Well,
keep your
that's-
votes.
That's who they're going to hide behind when it comes time to figure out who's got taxable
Exactly.
income. It's not me. I'm a good architect. limits from 2,000 to 5,000, and 401k limits. This is how I know 401ks were never for anyone who punched a clock ever. From 10,000 to 15,000. No one who punches a clock got 15,000 to 10,000 extra. Educational costs. This made me so angry. It made me want to spit teeth because I forgot about this. This is one of the ones I saw and like ran into. Education credit and deduction expenses. Among others, it allowed a maximum of $4,000 deduction for college tuition expenses.
Oh.
So, since that was the period when the books cost $1,000.
Actually, I don't think that's come by the 2000s, but it's certainly here now.
Fair.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to happen in the next 5 years.
Yeah.
So all of these, right, these deductions that are supposed to be helping what are going to be the young professional who one would hope goes on to get a good paying job so we can tax them more.
Right.
But
Because since if you're not going to tax the rich,
yeah,
Got to tax somebody.
well, it's not going to be the very poor because they don't have any money.
yeah,
I mean, we'll get them with, right, sales tax and some other garbage. But if you annoy them a lot, they'll drop out of your economy, and then what? Lots of this is depreciations allowed. Allowed additional year of depreciation for expenses. 5-year carryback provision. This is one I wanted to ask about. Allowed 5-year carryback for net operating loss. Temporarily extended the net operating loss carryback period from 2 years to 5 years. For net operating losses arising in taxable years ending in 2001 and 2002. Now,
I think that's basically income averaging for companies.
okay.
Right.
And a lot of, right, remember, in the background of this, like between the passing of that and the Jobs Creation and Workers Assistance Acts, 9/11 has happened.
Yeah.
Because one of the other things we have is 13 weeks of temporary unemployment extended to eligible and displaced workers. Expansion of work opportunity tax credit, expanded targeted categories to include certain employees in New York City, created new targeted group for the credit. New York authorized an issuance of $8 billion in tax-exempt private activity bonds for rebuilding the portion of New York damaged in 9/11. Certain expiring positions. We've got alternative minimum tax relief for individuals. Some carryover payments in Puerto Rico. Yeah, we're out. I have anything in my notes.
Okay.
For that period. The problem is my source information goes one route and my other goes opposite. Yes. Fuckers. We're up to 2003, bringing us to the, I love the names of these, Jobs Growth and Tax Relief Reconciliation Act of 2003.
There you go.
So this accelerates provisions for the, right, remember, had to be done through reconciliation. So it had to be deficit neutral.
Right.
So it had sunset provisions, it had all kinds of stuff.
Yep.
So accelerated provisions for the, we're not doing that, the 2001, the Bush tax cuts. Expanded the child tax credit to $1,000 for the next 2 years. Then it reverts to present law.
Yep.
So, and then
Temporary.
it gets, except not, because it's going to get re-upped
Okay.
in 2005. Expanded the 15% tax bracket and standard deduction to joint filers, to double the range and levels for single filers. Capital gains and dividends. Taxed capital gains with a 15% rate for most gains and 5% for gains in moderate income. That's the people in the 15% bracket.
Yeah.
Which actually I do like, but notice this isn't the
How many
mom
of
and
them
pop
have capital
investors.
gains?
Yeah, none. More than half of Americans hold no stock.
Right.
They would enjoy seeing what happens in Dow Zero for the first 20 minutes. Same thing. Yeah, right. It's a lot of this is just carrying over till the next sunset provision.
Yeah.
Increased bonus depreciation, expensing to 50% of physical asset purchases. Right. Again, this is all actually good. Right. That part's not dumb. Right. That's the kind of tax, like good tax law and good tax cuts you can do that. Yeah. If you invest in your business, we think that's cool. We'll let you write some of that shit off.
Yeah.
As opposed to, just give them whatever they want.
If you actually do it.
Yeah. So, good news, 2003, Military Family Tax Relief Act, 2003, death benefits doubled from $6,000 to $12,000. Almost enough to actually cover a funeral. If your people pay too much for funerals. Exempted distributions made from, this is the grossest part. Exempted distributions made from an education, That's later. Made from educational IRA to a non-educational purpose for 10% tax penalty if made for an account holder in a military academy.
Okay.
This is when you're having to pull money out from the next generation because somebody got sick. Because you're going to see that in one of the ones that lets you pull out penalty-free money for unexpected medical and the rest, because we're seeing that as we get older, these generations are sicker than we've ever imagined because they spent less time outside.
Well, and businesses are getting out of the business of providing health care coverage for their people.
Yeah, there's a pension saving act in here that
Yeah.
made me cry. Created above the line deduction for overnight travel expenses for National Guard and Reserve members traveling more than 100 miles from home. Sure. Whatever, man. It's one of those, I know the Bush tax cuts let the bosses write off the literal cost of a Harvard education annually. We don't have a distribution that's going to send a meaningful number, and 2/3 of Harvard kids are fucking legacies anyway. I wouldn't hire a Harvard kid on a dare. Medicare Prescription Drug Improvement and Modernization Act. Beware modernization acts. That's usually where the bad things happen. Introduced health savings accounts. They're going to be called Archer savings account, health savings accounts in a minute. Taxpayers under the age of 65 can make tax-free deposits into the deductible as high as the deductible plan if they purchase catastrophic health policy. Again, there's a part of that that's not entirely dumb, right? We're trying to incentivize people having some sort of insurance because this is the period where all of those bullshit health care that Obamacare killed.
Yeah.
For all the young professionals who, they're going to need it if they get hit by a bus. Their life's fucking over, right? In 4 days, they're not going to be employed by that corporation. Their insurance is going with it, and nobody can afford Cobra. Provide a tax exclusion for certain employers' subsidies. I wish there was more detail on that. Increase taxes indirectly by reducing employer incentives to retain prescription drug insurance coverage. Introduced new income-related premium for future Medicare Part B participants issued on IRS records sent to the Social Security Administration's office. Or from them, excuse me. Working Families Relief Act of 2004 extends the expiring Bush tax cuts, extends the other expiring tax provisions to 2005 only. Right, again, this is when we're sailing into the teeth of we're doing tax cuts when there's a war on. That hasn't been our historical precedent. In fact, you can look at tax revenue as a portion of federal revenues, and it goes up during the wars and then down during the peace. This is the gross one. Included combat pay in earnings for tax credit purposes. Included combat pay in earnings for calculating the earned income tax credit and child tax credit. So if you were getting combat pay, they were making sure that it was phasing out your other tax incentives.
Ooh.
Yeah. This is also where we have a huge period of raising military pay just enough so they don't qualify for SNAP and other food assistance
No, this
programs.
is when they really started fucking with, our.
No, they realized that less than 1% of America even raises their hand in a federal building. So, no, they realized that they could do all of the cool stuff on Sunday with the NFL and pay $1 million a game for when we have Sergeant Who Gives a Damn.
Right.
And we had to pay the NFL for those, $1 million a pop. I just think of all my friends who played in the various sandboxes available and their complaints about having their family buy them body armor. I don't know how many suits of body armor you can buy for $1 million, but it's more than two.
Yeah. A reasonable amount.
It might be enough to share, or at least make the sharing less. I don't know, but again, this is when they're telling us how they're all very much the Patriots. You can tell because they wear a flag pin.
Oh yeah, aggressively.
Here we go. Medicare Prescription Drug Improvement. No, we did that one. No, wait. That's the other one. I got these out of order now? Yes. Sorry. We are now all the way up to American Jobs Creation Act of 2004. Provisions related to the appeal or exclusion of extraterritorial income. I can't get a good answer on this. Provided transitional relief for taxpayers subject to the ETI, repealed by allowing tax exclusion of up to 80% of income in 2005 and 60% of incomes in 2006 of extraterritorial income. Created deduction relating to the income attributable to U.S. production activities. I can't get a good answer if, troops could use this to, exclude 80% of their income. I doubt it. Yeah, don't care. Same thing. Re-ups, other things, tax reform. Yes. Tax reform and simplification for U.S. businesses. Provided incentives to reinvest foreign earnings in the U.S., installed new interest expense allocation rules, recharacterized overall domestic loss, applied look-through rules for dividends, certain sections of 902 corporations, based on differences in reductions to 2 foreign tax credit baskets, implemented 10-year foreign tax credit carry forward, and a 1-year carryback. Repealed the percent limitation on the use of foreign tax credits against alternative minimum tax, among other items. You missed the part about the extraterritorial incomes, where you could write off 80% in 2005 and 60% in 2006. So
All right.
Merck's had a hell of a deal.
Sounds like.
Well, again, I find it interesting that Blackwater's first year of political contributions is the exact same number as their first year of contracts.
Interesting.
Yeah, private armies are dope. Got anything else for this one? Cool. Because I've been looking up to see if soldiers could qualify for the extraterritorial, and I don't.
Not so much.
No, I
Yeah.
don't think so.
No, because they get paid in the U.S.
Yeah, and all the numbers I can find now are based on like the current, so at some point they may end up there. So we're up to the Pension Protection Act of 2006. I wish you didn't go to the top. No. Yeah. Oh, yeah. 2005, when we let the energy industry write all the rules. Energy infrastructure tax incentives. So we extended and modified a bunch of producing electricity from renewable resources. That's a good thing. Then we had the other side. We funded a bunch of domestic fossil fuel security, extended a business tax credit for producing fuel from non-conventional sources, including coke or coke gas. Right, anything to get the coal-fired power plants to have any kind of a future, because they are.
Right.
Right, if nothing else, they're screwed by the Clean Air Act. Most of the
If
coal.
we enforced it.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. Tax deduction for energy efficient commercial buildings property placed in service before 2008. So, not many of them.
Mm.
And we were getting better, but 30% of extended expenditures for certain residential energy efficient properties. So there is some not horribly dumb shit.
This supported solar and so on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you can see in the both of them, right? For every good idea, we're pairing up with a bad one. And hey, I'm down when that's the politics. Because I would go back to this. We used to make laws.
Yep.
There's parts in this I hate, but there's also parts in this I like.
Yeah.
Katrina Emergency Tax Relief Act of 2005. Retirement funds. Exempted the penalty on early distributions, distribution withdrawals up to $100,000 from retirement plans through 2006 by individuals affected by Katrina. The vast majority of humans affected by Katrina probably don't have $100,000 in worldly assets.
Yeah.
So the rich people who had to withdraw $100,000 to move,
Mm-hmm.
they had $100,000 anyway.
Yeah.
Redistributions to be paid as a rollover within 3 years. Allowed individuals to make, again, these are, if you had enough to pull out to do these things, then if you had enough to care about rollovers.
You didn't need the help. Yeah.
Yeah. But I agree. It is for the high end of middle management. And yeah. It's so they can get to their 51%.
Yeah.
Extended the work opportunity tax credit to apply to Hurricane Katrina employees, allowed employers in core disaster area a business tax credit of 40% of the first $6,000 of wages paid to core disaster area affected employees.
Which is basically an incentive to hire local, which isn't stupid.
No.
So, okay. What else?
We're on to the Gulf Opportunity Zone. Extension of the Katrina provisions to victims of Hurricane Rita and Wilma. Extended special retirement fund rules, employee retention credit, temporary suspension of limit on deductions for charitable contributions. So, again, they really just stamped Katrina rules again.
Yeah.
Same thing. Tax Increase Prevention and Reconciliation Act of 2005. Depreciation, we extended the increased expensing allowance for depreciable business property from 2,500 to 25,000 to 100,000. Increased the threshold amount for determining reduction of the expensing allowance, and increased the period at which the taxpayer may revoke an election to expense depreciable business property through 2009. You have to read the whole sentence, Brian.
Yeah.
Capital gains extended through 2010. The reduction in capital gains dividends, the 5% for taxpayers in the 15 bracket, and 15% for all others. So again, we're back to if you have scale that the bosses have, you're winning multiple rounds every round.
Yeah.
Right? This is when the rich really started to run away.
Yep.
IRAs to Roth IRAs. Now we're on to brain.
Yeah, so there's just like a lot going on.
Yep.
Yeah.
Pension Protection Act of 2006. Carries over the Bush tax cuts.
People still getting pensions then?
Not many. It limited some of the things that were looking extra scummy. Charitable contributions to tax-exempt organizations allowed tax-free distribution from IRAs to certain public health charities from age 70 and a half and older, not to exceed $100,000 per taxpayer.
Wow. Yeah.
You tell them, Tiny Cat.
Cat, if you fall off there and break the television, people are going to be angry with you.
This is also what allows refunds to be deposited directly into IRAs, so it never appears as income.
That's not okay.
Uh-huh. And again, this is where they're putting, the annual cost of the whole cost of a Harvard tuition annually into IRAs.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Tax Relief and Healthcare Act of 2006. Yeah, we extended some shit. We extended and modified some shit. It's all we're still running in extensions and modifications of certain tax credits, all the same. Earned income tax credit, election to include combat pay that is otherwise excluded from gross taxable income for the earned income tax credit. So, thank you for your service. And you don't need our help as much. Come on, didn't the Army teach you to pull yourself up by bootstraps? Let me cut one.
And remember, they're doing this to guys. You're not drawing combat pay if you're home.
Yeah.
Right? So they were doing this to families who had somebody overseas at risk. Right? And they're saying, no, we're going to count the combat pay, and that'll
phase you out
of the earned income tax
But
credit.
just make sure you're not getting too much, because we know how easy it is being a soldier.
When you're giving all that money to the ultra rich, you got to find a place to find it. And what better place than by screwing a U.S. serviceman and his family?
Well, and the fact that we let the mercenaries take such a forward role in a lot of that, so they get to see the kids that are making $1,000 a day and able to write off 80%.
Yeah.
Who have better gear, who have better everything. The only thing they don't have is an Air Force, and Eric Prince is working very hard on that. That's why there was that weird airplane none of the companies involved want to talk about, because admitting it would be all kinds of a crime.
Oh, are you talking about that plane?
They illegally armed a plane.
Oh, God.
So China and everyone who was in, because no one knew, right? All of the companies who were working on it were working on one thing. The only one who had any questions, and it was weird that right after this, there was suddenly some federal interest. The story goes, they didn't know what kind of weapons they could get. So because you need to know if you need to have NATO mount points or Warsaw mount points. They made a universal one that can use either, which A, somebody should go steal that. That's a good design.
Mm-hmm.
And B, fuck man, you're really making a mercenary plane. And right after that, the feds got some kind of call.
Right?
Now we're on to the Mortgage Forgiveness Debt Relief Act of 2007. Extend tax debt forgiveness on principal residence for taxable income through 2009. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah, no, Tax Increase Prevention Act of 2007, which, goddamn, like, we've just gone to crazy now. Like, I thought it was weird when it showed up the first time, but now that's just what we're calling it, huh? Alternative minimum tax increased the tax exemption from 44,350 for single filers and 66,250 for married filers, extended through 2007. Extended the allowance for personal non-refundable credits against the AMT through 2007. Oh, that's right. I forgot about the weak sauce stimulus. Economic Stimulus Act of 2008. So, now Obama's president and fucking it up. And fucking it up because, right, half a loaf is better than no loaf, I'm told. My feeling is there's a loaf.
But with a Democrat in the White House, the last thing the Republicans are going to do is fund any reasonable stimulus.
Yeah, but if the Democrats are the smart ones, you telling me there's not a way around this? Again, I'd have the military out doing their medical training on local stickies.
Ha! There you go. That's not a bad idea.
So, if nothing else, they're probing half of the strippers already. Economic Stimulus Act of 2008. Tax rebates. Provide a one-time rebate equal to the lesser of net income tax liability and $600 for individual joint filers. Ensures minimum tax rebate of $300 for individuals with earning plus Social Security plus veterans benefits above $3,000. Provides an additional rebate of $300 per qualifying child. Right? The economy is on fire. We just moved $14 trillion of worker money into, well, we're not really sure. It's probably going to land on the bosses at some point, but right now it's vapor.
Yeah.
It is gone. Right? We are so scared. We are forcing the banks to write loans. Like their fucking wives were giving out loans.
Yeah.
And remember, not a single banker went to jail.
Oh, I thought there was one.
He's not a banker. He's a guy who works for bankers.
Yeah,
But
okay.
yeah.
Cool.
He's not Jamie fucking Dimon. He's not the whoever was involved in that email saying, I can't believe we're selling them this shit.
Yeah.
Like, you know you're bad when your contagion is fucking up credit unions. Business tax incentive for 2008 increased the limitation on expending qualified investment of $250,000, the maximum investment phase-out threshold to $800,000. First-year depreciation allowances on 50% of cost of qualifying investments. Like, we are just trying to get the economy to do anything. Like,
Right.
Because otherwise, we flamed out, and this is about to be a problem.
Yeah.
Hey, it's not going to be as big a problem for us as, say, the rest of the world, because we still own more than half of the global supply of aircraft carriers. But we may have to go Mad Max. Hopefully on others. Housing Assistance Tax Act and of the Housing and Economic Recovery Act of 2008. Revenue raising provisions required merchants to report credit card purchases information to the IRS, reduced the home sales exclusion, delayed effective rate worldwide interest allocation rules, and accelerated estimated tax payments for large corporations. This is when the Democrats are going, oh shit, right? We are sailing directly into economic Ragnarok, and these rich motherfuckers are talking about we can go to space and leave all those poors behind. Which, hey, I like because I think they're going to die from a disease from their phones, but I won't be around to enjoy it, which makes me sad. Emergency
Fair.
Economic Stabilization Act of 2008, stimulus provisions, allows financial institutions to treat gains or losses from the sale or exchange of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac preferred stock as ordinary income or loss. Added new limitations on the deductibility of executive compensation by employers participating in the Troubled Assets Relief Program, and extended the exclusion from the taxable income of forgivable debt on principal residence through 2012. Extended and modified various renewable energy incentives, carbon mitigation and coal provisions, and transportation domestic fuel security provisions. Increased the alternative minimum tax exemption to $46,200 for single filers and $69,950 for married filers. Extended the allowance of personal non-refundable credits against the alternate minimum tax through 2008. Yeah, we're wiggling around with the refundable portion of the child tax credit.
Yeah.
Right, we're trying to dial
We're
in
going to
more.
loan you some money and take it back later. Yeah.
And the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act of 2000, American Recovery and Reinvestment 2009. Individual income tax relief created the Making Work Pay credit. The American Opportunity Tax Credit increased the earned income tax credit rate for families with 3 children or more to 45%. Increased the phase-out range for married couples to $5,000 over that of single and head of household filers. Lowered the threshold for determining the refundable child tax credit to $3,000 in 2009 and 10. Converted the first-time homebuyer credit to a refundable credit, exempted up to $2,400 of the employment compensation received by each unemployed worker in 2009, allowed an above-the-line deduction in the sales tax on new cars purchased in 2009.
All right.
Yeah, we're extending, right, previous tax exemptions, we're extending the renewable energy provisions. And that's it, we're done.
Right.
Oh,
So we
thank
just
God.
what we had was a decade
Yep.
of continuing to give the rich more and more,
Yeah.
right? Of looking for places to make up a little bit of that, building a huge debt.
Yep.
Um,
Which is an irrelevancy, but
but anyway, it was again, if you go back and look at where is the wealth pre-2008 and then go look in 2011, you're going to find out that trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars came out of the pockets of working folks and went into the pockets of the ultra rich.
All right. Do we want to quickly look at our 2001 tax brackets and then our 2009 tax brackets?
Sounds good.
Sure.
All right. Bets on how many tax brackets we have in 2001?
I'm gonna stop that. You have 4.
All right. We got 1, 2. I can count 5. Yep.
Well played.
Okay, so 0 plus 15%. At 27,050, it's 27.5%. At 65,550, it's 30.5%. At $136,750, it's 35.5%. And at $297,350, we're at 39.1%. So that and up. And then in 2009, same bets on tax brackets?
Yep.
Okay. So we are at 6 now, it looks like.
Yeah.
Yep, 6. So it's $0 and up 10%. $8,350. It's 15%. That's a weird.
Oh, had to reach down a little bit there.
Yeah.
Got to get a few pennies back here and there.
Yep. Well, I mean,
Well, because the poor people can't fight, and can't say, "Oh, well, I donated $1,000
Exactly.
to whatever." Blah blah.
Yeah. But when you're giving money to the rich like it's going out of style, you got to look somewhere for offsets.
Oh, and I'm sure there was a bunch of excess taxes and stuff.
no, and this is the rise of the makers and takers argument from the Republicans and the
So at $33,950, you were paying 25%. At $82,250, you were paying 28%. At $171,550, 33%. And $372,950 is 35%.
That's down, right? Wasn't
Yep.
it 39 a minute ago? Yep. So we did it again. Money pouring out, trying to get things working, but the best thing to do is give those deserving rich a tax break.
Mm-hmm. And again,
job
these
creators, man.
And of course, that's mostly because, oh wait, they give donations.
these are single tax brackets, and we are getting them from taxbrackets.org.
Cool.
So.
So again, we continue to see, right, the rich escaping the tax system and more of the burden falling on the working class, right? Companies abandoning their health care, right? This
well,
is
and
where
the they're inventing tactics for it is the part
Yeah.
that annoys me, right?
Yeah.
Because we have laws that say you must keep all of the emails the CEO of your corporation sends, because no fucking shit you do.
Yeah.
How else are you going to know if he decided to fuck everybody, but he's about to go be a senior VP somewhere else or be on a board of directors? I don't know.
Right.
So now we have CEOs who have routinely used some other email, and well, who knew we didn't keep those emails? You knew it was coming from the CEO because when Johnny, not the CEO at whoever.corporation, wrote you a thing, you did what it told you, like you knew that person was in charge.
Yeah.
We should have landed with both feet on this. Like I am at a
Or you had what we just saw with Johnson & Johnson, which is don't write it down.
yeah. And you wrote that down. I don't understand how you don't. God damn. Thank fucking God they don't.
Can't even fuck up right.
It's the nice thing about because America doesn't have a lot of movement in the international crime. I'm not saying America doesn't do some international crimes.
Yeah.
But like there's not a lot of American black market that also deals with other things. It's kind of the Epstein types, right? One-off weirdos and stuff.
Yeah.
So these kids don't have a lot of experience on how to actually do the crimes. Because I think everybody who's ever thought about doing a crime has been like, okay, cool. If we're going to have a conversation about not writing things down, I'm not going to start it with this shit I wrote down that says not to write things down.
That's right. And sent to somebody as an email.
I know. This is how do you not gather everyone together? You're the lawyer for Johnson & Johnson. Go,
Yeah.
motherfuckers, we won't be talking about this ever again.
Right.
I'm doing some
It will
crime
never
shit.
appear in emails.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Oh, God.
All right. So, any final comments on what's going on?
Kim Potter should have been sentenced to 60 odd months, 3/4 of what the prosecutor asked for, and I'm okay with it. There's still a dead guy at the end of the day,
Yeah.
so you're gonna
Took away all his tomorrows.
Yeah.
As somebody I
and you're gonna
used to
spend
know.
half time because you're gonna do most of your thing in special housing units
Yeah.
because you can't do Gen Pop because you're a cop, and at some point, like, fine, I agree, this isn't the cop I want in Gen Pop. Chauvin is. Yeah, I know what that means. He's gonna die. I don't care. I care exactly as much as he cared. And that's where the difference for me is.
Yeah.
Right? This was less malicious as opposed to just, at worst,
Just a
rank
fuck up.
fucking incompetence.
Yeah.
So, no. Other than that, yeah, I got nothing. I'd fight fucking Elon Musk to the pain, though.
All right. So, don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, follow, heart, review. Tell us what you think. Do you love us? Do you hate us? Check us out on your favorite podcasting service, whatever that may be. We're on almost everything right now. And that's BoomerRexTonight. Our YouTube is BoomerRex. If you search BoomerRexTonight, you will find us. Twitter, we're at BRexTonight. And for Facebook, it's BoomerRexTonight, no spaces.
We got tasty memes. Come hang out.
Yeah, I didn't have a meme today. But we'll figure some out, and I'll start getting on top of it, because if I can get ahead of it, that'll
Yeah.
be easier.
Okay.
But I'm trying to do them daily, and it's just not working out. So anyway, we love y'all, and we'll
Yep.
see you back here on Monday. We hope y'all enjoy your weekend, and we will have a Monday show. I know we didn't last Monday, but that was
We'll do our best.
We are planning to have one
Valentine's
anyway.
Day. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So we will have a show on Monday, and it will be our Just the News. All right. So we love y'all. We'll see you back.
Meanwhile, in Florida, it is not raining hippopotamuses.
I hope Elon Musk gets struck in the dick by lightning.
Have a wonderful weekend. We'll see you back.
That's a mental image.